One generation's price and effort for freedom can easily be lost on subsequent generations. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, Day 2 of Readings for Pesach. Let's go back to Shemot, or Exodus, chapter number 12, and pick up where we left off yesterday. And let's begin with verse number 25. And it shall be, when you come to the land which Yahweh gives you, as he promised, that you shall guard this service. And it shall be, when your children say to you, what does this service mean to you? Then you shall say, it is the Pesach slaughtering of Yahweh, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mitzrayim, when he smote the Mitzrites and delivered our households. And the people bowed their heads and did obeisance. And the children of Israel went away and did so as Yahweh commanded Moshe and Aaron, so they did. Again, today, a few thoughts. Yah says that there is coming a time in the promised future. This is not a future that is a reality yet, but it is a promised future. You're going to get into the land where I have promised and I'm going to take you. And when you get there, and the season of Pesach comes around, you are to continue to observe this. After 9/11, here in the United States, when the towers fell in New York City and a plane went down in a field in Pennsylvania and another plane struck the Pentagon, lives were lost. America was shocked. And all the conspiracy theories and so forth aside, let's just focus on the fact lives were lost and people died tragically due to an act of terrorism, however it was manufactured. The mindset since then is never forget. Well, that was, again, 2001. It's now 2024 at the time of this recording. And so there are young adults, late teens and young adults, that were not alive on that day, living among us. The only way that they know what took place that day is because someone told them about the event. They have read a news article for some school project, perhaps. They saw the video, or they studied it in school as a historical something. They don't understand and can't understand the emotional impact for those of us who witnessed the event. Personally, I was watching the morning news here in my home in the living room, and they were reporting about the first plane hitting the tower, and I watched on the television screen as the second plane entered into the next tower. I remember the lump in my throat, and I remember the shock value. So I don't forget. And I know about the lives that were lost and the subsequent issues that developed internationally. So I haven't forgotten. For Israel, coming out of this night, an incredible event has taken place. Something supernatural, way out of the ordinary, and they're not going to forget. That generation will remember, but the only way that the next generation can remember to pass it on to subsequent generations is to not only remember the facts and the figures and the storyline, but somehow there has got to be the capturing of the emotion of the event as well. All these thousands of years since that night, we go through the Seder presentation and we eat the matzah and the bitter herbs and the karoset and all of the things. We have the lamb. We tell the story. But do we capture the emotion? Do we capture the impact of the event? It's hard for us to do so We are so far removed from it. Unless we can make the connection to where it speaks to us. Yah says it's a future event. You're going to be in the land. Your children are going to ask, what does this mean to you? They're not asking, what's this supposed to mean to us? Mom, Dad, what does this mean to you? Why are we doing this? And the response is that this is the Pesach slaughtering of Yahweh. And we remember that night, long ago, in Mitzrayim, and hearing the instructions, the people bowed, did obeisance, that is, they worshiped. Whatever this impact of instructions was upon them, it caused them to bow their heads and to worship. I got to be honest, in most Seder presentations, worship is not a central focus. There may be some dance, there may be some song, some recitation of psalms. There may be some things that are liturgical, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But the idea of emotional impact, to we would look at the heavens and we're whispering, thank you. Unless we make that relevant connection to where we realize, one, Yah didn't destroy me. He did not destroy us when he rightfully could have done so. We were in our sins. We were in a Mitzrayite frame of mind, an Egyptian frame of world mind. We could have been easily destroyed, and he didn't. He passed over. And not only that, he brought us out and he delivered us. When we remember that, maybe it's when we put the horseradish or the bitter herb on the matzah and we eat and our eyes water up and our whole sinus cavity feels like it's set on fire. We remember the bitterness of our sins and how he delivered us. But then we can take it perhaps to a second level. And that is that we can imagine and anticipate that there is a time in the approaching future where we're going to be brought to bear with the reality that we are currently living in exile. We love our nation. We love the history of our nation. We love the familiarities of our nation and its customs and so many good things about wherever it is that you may live. But if it's not the land of Israel, in all reality, if you are Israel, you are currently in exile. It may be a very blessed and beneficial, a very benevolent exile. And for that, we can be thankful. But we're still in exile. And that is that we belong to another place. We belong to another people. And we can look forward and anticipate there's a coming deliverance. Which leads to the question, how bad does Yah have to shake things up? How bad will things be shook up or shaken up? How inconvenient will things be brought to bear upon us? To where, as these people were, they'd had enough and they were ready to leave. Moshe did not stand at the doors, we're told, and plead and beg, come on, please go with us. The rabbis do teach that some 80% stayed behind. If that is true, that's a tragedy. That they would stay behind in a broken society, totally devastated by the judgments of Yah, and not leave. If we're going to embrace the kingdom, if we're going to fully embrace Messiah, then we're going to want to be where he is and be a part of what he is establishing and doing. And that means being in the land. So there is coming an exodus. And when it comes, when it arrives, may our heart's door be bathed in blood. May the meal be on our lips. May our shoes be on our feet, our staff in our hand, our loins girded and ready to go. May Yah bring us out, and may we be willing to go. And our children with us. And I'll see you again tomorrow. To then, shalom.